All right, so today we are going to look at precise words and phrases. This is really, really important because oftentimes, guys, when we're focused on this grammar, it's so that we can relate or translate this rather into our writing, meaning what we're learning here, we want to apply to our writing, right? That's our goal. Apply to our writing. So far this week, just to kind of recap, we've learned about how writers can directly quote someone, right? Using quotation marks the correct way and having the correct punctuation. We want to do that in our writing. And after that, we talked about combining sentences, using coordinating conjunctions. If we're going to write a compound sentence in one of our essays, we want to make sure that we're using the correct punctuation and the correct coordinating conjunction to combine those ideas. Today, we're going to talk about precise words and phrases. So what do I mean by precise words? Well, take a look right here. The question is asking you, what's the difference between a dog and a puppy? It's a perfect example for me because I am experiencing that in my house every day. Well, they said maybe 10 years. If I just use the term dog, a reader would never know that I meant specifically a brown bulldog puppy. See how this is more precise than just the term dog? So it's really important, guys, that we're going to choose words and phrases that tell precisely the meaning that we wish to convey or to give our reader. Let's look at a couple examples here. So on this side of the page, they've included what they call vague sentences. Vague means just very broad, not very precise. So let's look at the first one. Parts of Hawaii have been disappearing. Well, parts. I'm not really sure what you mean by parts of Hawaii, like the land, the water, the people. What exactly are you referring to when you say the parts of Hawaii? Well, if you're going to be more precise, then you might tell me the wetlands of Hawaii have been disappearing. Again, that's more precise language. As writers, that's our goal. For our reader to really have a true, good, clear understanding of exactly what we're trying to convey. Let's look at this one. Again, the vague example, many fruits grow in Hawaii. Okay, like what? Well, here's a more precise writer. They would say something like tropical pineapples, mangoes, and bananas grow in Hawaii. Now I have a really good idea of what type of fruit you're talking about. So let's look at a few examples together. As we read through these, I want you guys to ask yourself which word or phrase best helps you picture or understand what is being described. Again, you want to help your reader to be able to picture or to understand what is being described. So let's look at number one. Hawaii has a lot of the coral reefs in the world. A lot. Well, does that mean just a large number? Or is it a majority of the coral reefs? Well, a more vague answer would be a large number. It's kind of just the same as a lot, isn't it? So if we're going to be precise, we're going to tell our reader that Hawaii is basically home to or has a lot of or a majority of the coral reefs in the world. Let's look at the second example. Oahu is filled with tourists who want to enjoy the island's beautiful beaches. Well, we live in Florida. We live near beaches. They're beautiful. That's kind of vague. So why is it people are traveling all the way to Hawaii? Well, are they pretty? Yeah, but that's still kind of vague. Well, what makes these beaches so beautiful? Now you can create that picture in your mind. It's the white sand beaches. See how that's more precise? Take a look at number 3. The North Shore is the ideal location to watch big wave surfing as waves go up more than 30 feet high. Well, let's picture this in our mind. Waves are going up more than 30 feet high. Is a precise language going to be that they move up more than 30 feet high or that they stretch up more than 30 feet high. They're very similar. Which one do you think is the best choice? Right. We're going to include the word stretch right here to describe the wave movement. Let's look at number 4. Go ahead and read this one to yourself. I think we pronounce this actually Hanauma. Hanauma Bay. Read it and see what you think. Well, many of you have probably been snorkeling before, so you're kind of using your background knowledge here along with what you've learned about precise language to make that decision that if you're going snorkeling, you want to be able to see, right? You want the water to be very clear so that you can see in front of you. That's why you're snorkeling, to be able to see everything underwater. So is it more precise to say with its nice, pleasant waters or with its clear blue waters? Which one makes more sense? Right. Clear blue. If you're snorkeling, you want the water to be nice and clear and blue so that you can see. That's what makes it so nice. Do you see the difference here? This is what we mean, but this is what we wrote. So we have to be aware and try to be a little more precise. Let's look at the last example. Tall mountains can be found on the Big Island in Hawaii. Which word do you think is an example of precise language? Well, tall is kind of the same as high, right? High mountains can be found, but we want to be more precise. So I think that the best choice would be towering mountains. They're towering all over the Big Island in Hawaii. So you have 5 examples today. You're going to read through the sentence and you have an underlined word, just like we did. And you have to choose which word could better replace this underlined word to make the sentence just a little more precise. Now again, you have to think about what you know about the subject or what's being mentioned in this sentence, right? If we're talking about rainforest, good rainforest, which one do you think will make the most sense? So again, just like before, make sure you read through the entire sentence before you make your choice. Over here on problems 4 and 5, you're going to read a short paragraph, and then they're going to ask you to replace just one of those words. For example, in question 4, you have to choose a word to replace the word place. In question 5, you're going to have to choose a word to replace hot that better describes volcanic lava. Let me know if you have any questions.